What's up, fight fans? Welcome to my channel. This is Johnny. In today's video, we're going to be going over the statistics that nobody talks about when mentioning this weekend's world title fight at 140 pounds between the champion Alberto Puello and the challenger Sandor Martin. Guys, stay tuned to the end of this video. We're also going to be giving you my prediction. I'll be telling you where to put your money on to make the most of yours. Before we continue, I want to say thank you to all the new subscribers. Thank you to everybody who's been with me since day one. If you haven't already, could you please hit subscribe? The analytics on my YouTube channel tell me that 80% of you who watch my content aren't subscribed. So if you're unaware, hit subscribe. That'll really help me out, as well as like this video and hit the bell notification button. What that'll allow me to do is every time I create something that's new, you'll be the first to be notified. Thank you. All right, guys, another weekend full of fights. This one takes place on the undercard of the Gervonta Davis and Lamont Roach fight all week. I'm going to be documenting that undercard. Today, we're going to be opening up the Alberto Puello versus Sandor Martin fight. Tomorrow, we're going to be going over the Rayo Valenzuela and the Gary Antoine Russell fight. And then Friday in Sydney, Thursday evening in America, I'll be giving you my prediction on the Tank versus Roach fight. For now, we're going to go over the statistics about each fighters. We're going to remind everybody who Puello is. We're going to remind everybody who Sandor Martin is. We'll talk about the pros and cons, their strengths, their fight styles, and at the very end, I'm going to tell you where I'm going to put my money on. The last time we saw Alberto Puello, he fought for the interim world title at 140 pounds against then undefeated 17-0 with 17 knockouts Gary Antoine Russell. We actually live streamed that on the channel. I took Gary Antoine Russell to win that fight. I have to admit, I didn't know that much about Alberto Puello going into the fight. All I remember about him before the GAR fight was that was the guy who was supposed to fight Rolly Romero, and right before that fight, he was pulled out for failed drug tests and then upset Ismael Barroso. But Alberto Puello's team came out, talked about the failed PED test, which was the same test that Conor Benn failed for contaminated eggs. And Puello said that it was because his wife was pregnant and it was some sort of doctor's guidance to take some certain medication, and this is what got that test to test positive. Either way, he was out for a year, and this guy isn't the most active fighter dating back to 2020. He's only had a handful of fights, but I must say, what I saw against GAR, I was really impressed. I was impressed with his pace. I was impressed with his work rate. He's a slick southpaw, and the 30-year-old Dominican is now a world champion. With Sandor Martin, this guy has all the experience in the world. The Spaniard only has a handful of losses. You might remember him fighting Teofimo Lopez. He lost a razor-close split decision. He also has a loss to Anthony Idjit. Sandor Martin's also a southpaw, guys. So this is going to be an example of a southpaw versus southpaw. Both guys are going to be patient in their approach. Neither one of them are knockout artists, so this is going to be one for the purists of the sport. Now I want to go over a little bit more in detail what fight fans, boxing fans can expect with this matchup. All right, guys, while all eyes will be on Saturday's main event between Tank and Roach, the undercard offers fight fans 2 additional world title fights. The first one, Alberto Puello versus Sandor Martin. The Dominican Puello, who's 23-0 with 10 knockouts, was recently elevated to full WBC world champion after former title holder Devin Haney was declared champion in recess. Puello won the interim strap last June against the undefeated Gary Antoine Russell and will make his first defense of the coveted green and gold strap this weekend. La Avispa won the WBA title at 140 in 2022, beating highly rated Russian Badarzan Akhmadov. However, Puello vacated the title due to a failed drug test before a scheduled fight with Rolly Romero. The Dominican was suspended and didn't box for over a year, contributing to a boxing career which has been plagued by inactivity, which Puello fighting just once a year since 2022, and then despite fighting twice in 2021, he only fought once in 2020 and 2019. This weekend's challenger from Spain, Martin, will fight for the first time since 2023, where he won 2 8-rounders on the bounce back following his closely contested points defeat to Teofimo Lopez. Martin was part of a substantial rise for Spanish boxing under Matchroom. Since the volume of shows in Spain has deteriorated, opportunities have been few and far between. The Spaniard's biggest win came back in 2021 when he outpointed Mikey Garcia and subsequently asserted himself on the world stage. The 31-year-old southpaw will challenge for glory for the first time on Saturday, looking to become Spain's first world title champion since Kiko Martinez held the IBF featherweight strap in 2022. With both fighters possessing a sub 50% knockout to win ratio, this one could go the full 12-round distance. Puello is a very effective pressure fighter and throws punches with plenty of volume, whereas Martin doesn't waste many punches. If it does go to the judges, Puello's output could be a telling factor. However, Martin has proved his ability to box on the back foot, having success throughout his 10-round affair with Lopez with sharp counterpunching and elusive movement. The winner of Saturday's WBC title clash in Brooklyn may face mandatory challenger Dalton Smith later this year, who will have a keen eye on what could be an intriguing 12-round affair. Guys, if we go to Las Vegas right now and look where the bettors, the gamblers have been putting their money, I don't want to say it's quite a 50-50 fight, but it's damn near razor's close. So I use the Sportsbet app down here in Sydney, Australia. I know a lot of you guys, when I do this segment of the show, ask me, what's my betting app? This one's only offered in Australia, so these odds are from Sportsbet. All right, if you take the money line, Alberto Puello is $1.84 and Sandor Martin's $2.10, which means 100 on Puello to win gets you 84 in return, 100 on Martin to win gets you 210 back. Let's look at some of these props. We'll go method of victory. It's what I usually like to gamble on. Alberto Puello to win a points or decision, his odds jump to 245. For him to win by knockout, 6-1. So $100 gets you 600. A draw, 17-1. Sandor Martin to win a points decision, 255. If Sandor Martin win by knockout, 875. 100 gets you 875 back. So with this stylistic matchup of southpaw with southpaw, with what I saw with Puello against GAR, and with Sandor Martin's style, not really aggressive, waiting for the counter and making you pay, where I'm going to go with my money on this one, I'm going to go all in. I'm just going to pick the money line. I feel really comfortable with Alberto Puello defeating the Spaniard, the grizzled veteran, even though Sandor Martin has almost double the ring experience. I think that his inactivity lately is going to hold true. I also think that Alberto Puello's pace, if this is going to be the same guy that we saw against GAR, I think his pressure, his output, and pace is going to be enough to outpoint Sandor Martin. This is not an echo chamber like I always said. I want to know in the comment section below who you guys are going with, and also stay tuned to the channel the rest of the week. I'm going to be dropping the GAR and Rayo Valenzuela fight prediction, as well as the Tank vs. Roach.